Welcome to SSU Live. My name is Abraham DeWeese. With me today is Bob Lucky. He's behind the screen. He's the man with the idea, the man with the plan, and the guy and the mind that makes this show work. How's it going, Bob?
Not too bad. Better than our Mariners.
All right, let's just talk about the Mariners. We are Seattle Sports Union. We are the best in local Seattle sports commentary. Right now, you're watching us on YouTube. I just want to say hello out there to all of our viewers on Periscope who are watching as well. Hi, guys. All right, so we're Seattle Sports Union. We've been around for a while. We write great articles about all of our local teams like the Seattle Mariners, Seattle Sounders, Seattle Seahawks, Huskies, etc., Seattle Storm, all of it. All right, guys, let's just go ahead and move right into the first topic that Bob decided to bring up, and that was one Seattle Mariners. Well, guys, I went down to the game on Friday. Had a great time. I just want to throw out there to you. Have you guys ever gone to the fireworks display down there at the stadium? This fireworks display is sick. And by sick, I mean amazing, awesome, incredible, and just utterly delightful. That's right, I said delightful. I feel good about myself enough to where I can say delightful. Unfortunately, we did not see fireworks on the field. Post-game display, great. Pre-game drinking, great. This bomber hat, amazing. I love this bomber hat. Thank you, Mariners. Some great promotions. What I did not see, though, however, on the field was an offense that lit up the scoreboard. What's very crazy, what's very insane about that, what I just don't seem to understand, is this is a dominant offense. This offense by the Mariners ranked number 4 in runs scored this year. Ranked number 4 in home runs as of Friday. They didn't do anything. They did nothing. And that's against the worst team in all of baseball, in one Minnesota Twins. Can I say one Minnesota Twins, or do I have to say a pair of Minnesota Twins? Let me just go behind the scene here and ask our local technical director, Bob, grammatically, can I say one Mariner Twins, or do I have to say a set of Minnesota Twins?
I'm not sure because the Idaho State, Ohio, or is it Ohio State?
The Ohio State.
It kind of muddies the water on the use of the word the.
Yeah, you're right. Sports doesn't make sense and it doesn't have to. Anyway, moving right along, I just want to talk a little bit about Felix Hernandez. That's one King Felix. Friday night was King Felix night. Friday night, well, aside from hat night, it was also a night to celebrate the best pitcher that we've seen in our lifetime and the best pitcher of all time who is a Mariner. Okay, if you're out there and you're a Tom Glavine fan, you're a Tom Glavine fan. Okay, I get that. I don't watch National League Baseball. I don't like it. I don't like National League Baseball. It's terrible. It's stupid. Yes, I know you guys like Clayton Kershaw. I know you like Greinke. National League pitchers, boring. Basically, National League pitchers get a free out every 9 at-bats. You guys know it. I know it. Let's get back to King Felix. King Felix has been the best pitcher that we've seen these last 11 years. Last Friday night, we did not see the King Felix that we saw these last several years, this last decade. What we saw was a pitcher who has lost probably 5 miles an hour off of his fastball. We saw a pitcher struggling to get his curveball over into the zone. And when he did get in the zone, it got hung up and it got shot out of the stadium. Mariners need to take a look at one pitching coach, one Mel Stottlemyre Jr. And they need to get he and King Felix into a room and figure out what a 30-year-old King Felix is going to do for the next 5 years of his career. Let's not pretend like King Felix is going to last forever. Let's not pretend he's going to last any more than 5 years, to be honest, okay? I mean, his contract is going to run out in about 4 or 5 years, and there's a reason why. Athletes tend to decline after 30. Don't give me those one-offs. Don't give me your Nolan Ryans. Don't give me any of those guys that are, positively ancient and have lasted well into their 35s, 38s, and 40s. That doesn't happen normally. the natural progression of an athlete is you decline after 30. And that's where King Felix is. Now, he can last a little bit longer, but he's going to have to change his game. And that's what we saw. That's what we saw back on Friday. He couldn't get the fastball over. And when he stopped being able to get the fastball over, he had to switch to breaking balls and changeups, and there wasn't enough break in those curveballs. There wasn't enough variation in the speed between that off speed and that now what is a 91 mile per hour fastball. That needs to change. It can only be changed yet again. I say this yet again. Can only be changed by one Felix Hernandez, helped and aided by Mel Stottlemyre Jr., the pitching coach. They got to get this figured out. If we're going to get any kind of serious run this year, they got to get this figured out. All is not lost, guys. All is not lost. We're looking at a Felix Hernandez with a, last I looked here, a 2.28 ERA. That's still pretty good. You guys ever take a look at the last 10 games? We've seen him decline. And by decline, what I mean is 8 out of the last 10 games, he had a quality start. You guys know what a quality start is, right? That's six innings with 3 or 4 runs. And that's what he's done. I look at every single one of these games, just there's 2 games, 3 games max that have been fewer than 6 innings and fewer than 3 runs. There was a huge obstacle against Oakland on May 4th where he gave up 4 runs. That's terrible. That sucks. Friday's game, terrible. It sucked too. 6 runs off 8 hits. That's not good. But I mean, you're looking at a bad game that is then generally followed up by 2 or 3 really good games. And if that's what you're getting, that's what you want. That's what we want. I mean, even the best pitchers, you're not getting, unless you're Jake Arrieta, again, National League with their fake league with their pitchers hitting and boring, if you're looking at, maybe a Clayton Kershaw, again, National League. Remember, that guy gets, again, 3 free outs every game. Then, okay, it makes a little bit of sense, if you want to compare him this. But if you're comparing him to 99% of the league, he's still better than 99% of the league. Again, I said 2.50 ERA. I meant 2.86. That's still amazing. That's post Friday's game. Look at this guy. He's just all he's doing is racking up strikeouts and not giving up walks. Is he getting hit? Yeah, they're laying some wood to the leather, but these things happen. All right, guys. So this weekend, the Mariners faced the Twins, got swept, obviously. We got to see an old familiar face, and that face really did well. Franklin Gutierrez. You remember him. The guy with all sorts of problems like the intestinal problems and the knee injury and this, that, and the other thing. Almost was out of baseball. He's about 32, 33 years old now, and kind of had a career stolen away from him. Probably the best defender in all of baseball at any position, maybe about 6-7 years ago. All right. Well, right now he's basically a 4th outfielder, and right now he's filling in for Leonys Martin. Leonys Martin, of course, you remember, injured himself sliding into base. How do the Mariners keep getting guys injured sliding into bases? It doesn't make any sense. If you can't slide, don't slide. Don't get hurt. It's 162 games, guys. Do not get yourself injured on stupid plays like these. This is why I get upset. I get upset when people talk about, oh, well, that guy didn't leg out that grounder. And that's what they sound like. That's what these people sound like. Oh, Ken Griffey Jr. didn't run out that grounder. Yeah, who cares? It's a grounder. He's not Ichiro. Nelson Cruz didn't outrun that grounder. Yeah, what's he going to do that? 1 in every 400 times he might get a hit? Big deal. How many times would these guys get injured? Often. Hamstring injuries happen all the time. And on sliding, ankle injuries and wrist injuries happen all the time. And we saw it again. saw it with Ketel Marte, saw it with now Leonys Martin. I don't understand it. Why are these guys getting injured? It's just sliding, guys. Stop. Think about it. Don't get yourself hurt on that kind of play. This isn't a game-winning play that these guys are getting injured on either. Mariners need to go out and get a coach to teach how to slide. Terrible. All right, guys. Franklin Gutierrez got the nod when Leonys Martin went out. They moved Aoki and Smith into center. That's a big hit on defense. One of the reasons why they had a problem beating the Twins was that big gap in defense. But offensively, you can't say that it was Gutierrez's fault. Check these numbers out. Franklin Gutierrez went in 11 at bats. He had 5 hits. It's not bad. It's pretty good. It's about 400 something. But he also had 2 dingers. He had 2 dingers, 2 home runs, and that's great to see. I mean, it's only his second and third home run on the year, but this is the kind of thing that we need to see from the bench. We need to see guys come in and succeed when the starter gets injured. Ketel Marte got injured. They brought up Chris Taylor. Chris Taylor did not do the job. He got 2 errors and couldn't get hits. He got sent back down to Tacoma. Sean O'Malley came up from Tacoma. He was called upon. He played any position they wanted him to. He played center field. He could play left field. He did. Shortstop. He played shortstop and second. He played anywhere they wanted him to, and he succeeded defensively and offensively. And that's what you really, really need from a reserve player. Franklin Gutierrez, again, 2 home runs this weekend. Nobody else was producing, but he sure as heck did. Hey, Bob, I noticed that in practice, one Nelson Cruz, that's right, our right fielder / DH, was the first guy to hit a ball out of Safeco Field. First guy.
That's pretty impressive. As I recall, that didn't even happen in the All-Star game.
Never happened in the All-Star game. Think about all the guys that were here, Bob. You look at Ken Griffey Jr., never did it. Now, granted, he's a lefty. He wouldn't have hit to that side. Jay Buhner never did it. I know he's one of your favorites. You look at, Robinson Cano's never done it. You look at just all the guys that have been here, Mike Cameron, all these power hitters. Nobody was ever able to do it. But Nelson Cruz did do it. And that's pretty spectacular, and that's very significant. I'm glad we got to see that. Go ahead and check it out. Go ahead and go to the internet and check out his home run. He crushed it. Now, question is, the big important issue of the day is, Bob, what do you do if you're driving along that street, if you're driving along Royal Brome and that ball from Nelson Cruz hits your windshield?
Well, I think you put your car on eBay.
Sell it as a...
My car was the first car ever hit by a ball driving by Safeco.
Is that before or after you careened off the road and crashed into a lamppost?
That just makes it more authentic.
Well, that makes it more... Yes, it does make it more authentic. All right, well, the Mariners this last week, they got swept by the Twins. This has happened before. They took the Angels lightly. That was about 2 weekends ago, and got swept by the Angels. And that's kind of where the Mariners are at. The Mariners are probably not a World Series team because they fall asleep when a team like the Twins come to town. They fall asleep and get, kind of basically taken to task by a hack team that's trying to prove themselves. Yeah, I'm sorry. If you're a Minnesota Twins fan out there, I'm calling your team a hack team. And you know that as well as I do. I mean, even your best players like Eduardo Nunez just can't seem to find first base. They're throwing the ball halfway into the stands, Anyway, not to get too much on the Twins there and their problems. Well, let me do get into the Twins and their problems. The Twins, I found out last week, had a unnamed player get into an argument with the announcer, with the play-by-play announcer. What's going on, Twins? I mean, again, okay, you beat the Mariners, but your team is in such disarray that you have players getting into fights with the announcers, the play-by-play announcers. That is not a good team. And again, I really don't understand how this Seattle Mariner team did not defeat them. Okay, Felix, meltdown, utter meltdown. Let's just call that the typical meltdown that he's going to have maybe every 4 or 5 games. Wade Miley, who has been very, very strong, had a meltdown. Taijuan Walker, meltdown. Now, okay, each one of those pitchers are prone to that, and that can happen, but it can't happen all at once. It cannot happen, but it did, and that's problematic. And the manager, Scott Servais, is going to need to figure out how to kick these guys in the back end and get them motivated and get them to understand that you can't throw out stinkers like that successively. Somebody has to break out of the mold, or otherwise this season, this first place AL West division leading team, they're going to end up just a mediocre has-been. If they can't get this figured out, that's right, they're going to end up a mediocre has-been. All right, we got to run a break here in a minute, but I got one last thing I want to cover with you guys, and that is actually, I'm going to say something nice about the Twins, and that is Joe Mauer. I wrote an article today, my reaction to this weekend's series. It's on seattlesportsunion.com. That's www.seattlesportsunion.com. Check it out. We have commentary on all the games that happened in the Seattle area. We also have previews and whatnot, comment and opinion pieces. But I want to throw out there Joe Mauer. Joe Mauer is a guy that's been around, seen a lot of things, done a lot of stuff, and has, in this horrible season where the Twins are 14-24, worst team in all of baseball, Joe Mauer, all he did was go out there and hit 1 home run in each game. 3 home runs total. He went 5 for 12. He had 3 home runs, had 5 RBIs. Offensively, I had to give him the SSU, Seattle Sports Union Player of the Series for that performance. It was amazing. It was really good. And I have to tip my cap, bomber hat, to one Joe Mauer. All right, guys, we're going to run a break here, but we'll be right back. I am Abraham DeWeese, and this is Seattle Sports Union. See you on the other side. Welcome back to SSU Live. My name is Abraham DeWeese. We are Seattle Sports Union. Check out our great articles at seattlesportsunion.com. Also, take a look at us on Twitter. That's at Seattle Sports U. Check us out on Facebook. Just go ahead and go to Facebook, type in Seattle Sports Union, and then click on like. You're going to get all sorts of great content. Also, check us out here on YouTube. We have all sorts of great shows, and we love doing it for you. And also check us out on Periscope. We are actually broadcasting this live on a behind the scenes on Periscope, and we'll be doing so each week. And I just want to talk a little bit about the Seattle Seahawks. I caught a lot of garbage from people, and I've been told how terrible I am and how wrong I am, and I, don't know what I'm doing, and you know what? I'm willing to accept it. And I'm going to come here on this show, and I'm going to tell you, I stand by everything that I say, with the exception of possibly one game. I wrote an article. Go to seattlesportsunion.com and check out Seattle Seahawks 5 losses are likely. Just do a search term, 5 losses are likely. And I stick by that we're going to have 5 losses, but there's one game on here where I think maybe we might actually win. And that's based off of some news that you guys might have heard. And that news is about one Tom Brady. Yeah, Tom Brady, the cheater. The cheater, you know what? He's not just a cheater. He's a horrible person with horrible friends and horrible coaches. And that's, one Bill Belichick, and just so angry and aggravated. And I never met the guy, but I'm sure I wouldn't like him, and I'm sure he wouldn't like me. Anyway, the news about one Tom Brady is apparently a court overturned his suspension, or his appeal for a suspension, and now he is going to get suspended for the first 4 games of next year. And look at this smile. Isn't that nice? Don't I look nice and happy? Yes, that's because you cheated, Tom Brady. Cheater! And you're gonna serve a 4-game suspension, and I'm happy, and everybody who isn't a Patriots fan is happy about that. Where was I? Oh yes, Seahawks are likely to lose 5 games. So in my article on seattlesportsunion.com, I wrote down that the Los Angeles Rams will probably defeat us, and that'll be our first loss. Last year the Rams hung us for a loss. Jeff Fisher always finds a way to do this. I don't know how he does it. Jeff Fisher always has like a punter throw for a touchdown, or he'll have like the water boy run out there and block a field goal. It doesn't make any sense, but every year, like, I'm more worried about the Rams than I am any other team. I mean, like the Cardinals roll in here, not worried. When the Patriots roll in, fine, we'll find a way. Cowboys, same thing. When the Rams come in, it's nerve-wracking. I mean, part of it is because they're not a really good team. They're not good. They've never been really good under Jeff Fisher. I don't think Jeff Fisher's really done a good job since they had Kurt Warner. Well, he wasn't with them when they had Kurt Warner. Now that I think about it. Yeah, I'm trying to think about when they've ever been good under Jeff Fisher. They haven't. But they find a way to beat Pete Carroll and Seattle Seahawks. Anyway, last year, Greg Zuerlein, remember Greg Zuerlein? Geez. He kicked a game winner in overtime to defeat us, and they play brutal defense, and they bully us, and that's our game. That's the Seahawks. That's the way we play. But they bullied us, and I don't get it. But anyway, that's a loss, and I think that's going to be a guaranteed loss. With Todd Gurley as a running back and Jared Goff at quarterback, I think maybe not the first game, but the second game we come up against them, they're going to find a way to take us out. And it's unfortunate, but, teams don't go undefeated in the NFL. It's just not the way it is. All right, loss number 2 is going to be to the Arizona Cardinals. And this prediction is brought to you by Dawn Patrol Ale by Aslan Brewing out of Bellingham. Actually, no, it's not. It is not brought to you by this, but we would love Aslan Ale in Bellingham to sponsor us. So please do, because your beer is delicious. Anyway, Arizona Cardinals is my expectation for the next loss. And Bruce Arians, Bruce Arians, their head coach, Brucey Ball, that style of that style of electric offense that he plays, throw the ball up everywhere, and their receivers are going to catch it left and right. It can be a problem for our team because they still play defense. They play exciting offense, they play great defense, and you look at their team and they just kind of keep reloading. The big if, and this has always been an if with them, is will Carson Palmer be healthy? Well, in that first game, I think he will be healthy, and man, oh man, when we saw them do that 83-yard touchdown drive last year to defeat us, I'm terrified, and I think that might be a possibility yet again. I hope it's not, but it's a possibility. So the third loss is, my expectation is that the Patriots, if Brady comes back. But Emperor Belichick, I get this weird feeling he's going to get his little wormy, dark force related method of getting out of crimes that he's committed and keep Darth Brady involved in this game. And if that's the case, then we could possibly lose that game. But, it's great news if Brady doesn't play. It's great news because then they're stuck with Jimmy Garoppolo, whatever his name is, the backup quarterback. And, I don't care. You can be the biggest hack. You can love the Patriots all you want. But you can't tell me that the drop-off from Brady to any other quarterback isn't anything you're worried about, because you should be worried about it. And you know it. Don't lie to yourself. If there's no Brady, Seahawks take that one. But if there is a Brady, big potential for the Seahawks losing that game. Big potential. All right, the fourth guaranteed loss is against the Carolina Panthers. Seahawks aren't afraid of the Panthers. You know that, right? We're not afraid. But the fact of the matter is they beat us twice last year. Team coming back with the same players basically they had last year. Minus Josh Norman at the cornerback position. Minus Josh Norman and a couple other players. Maybe a Shaq Thompson because of that injury that he had in that car crash. But they're getting back one. Kelvin Benjamin, their wide receiver that they didn't have all last year, and they still went to the Super Bowl. So that's going to be a huge problem. I mean, we had a hard time stopping Greg Olsen, their tight end. We couldn't do it. And that's with no backup support at the receiver position. Well, what are we going to do when they have Kelvin Benjamin? I think we're going to lose that game. I really do. And I hate to break it to you. I'm a Seahawks fan. I'm a big Seahawks fan. But I don't see us winning that game. And Riverboat Ron has always got a great game plan against our offense. All right, the fifth loss is probably going to be against the Green Bay Packers. Yeah, the Packers, we got to go play them in Green Bay in the winter. December, with the snow and the cold and the, who made this schedule? Why do we have to go play them in the winter, in the cold, in the snow, where it's going to be miserable and it's going to be ugly? And when I say ugly, I don't mean the game's going to be ugly. I mean their fans are ugly. They're going to have like ugly fans, and it's going to be an ugly game, and we're going to end up having to deal with all that crap. And I see a potential for a huge drop off, a huge letdown. And one Aaron Rodgers, got to remember, he threw two touchdowns against us last year. They beat us 27-17, and that guy can score on pretty much anybody. A lot was made about him not throwing towards Richard Sherman's direction. I get that. But there's plenty of other places he can throw, and there's plenty of other ways he can beat us. And we've seen it before. We saw it last year. We could see it again. Those are the 5 guaranteed losses that I have for the Seahawks. All right. Speaking of Seahawks, I just want to talk about a particular guy that just breaks my heart. Breaks my heart that he did not make the team. And that was one Vernon Adams Jr., quarterback out of Eastern Washington University. He also played at the University of Oregon. He was ignored for a long time. He was electric, amazing, on fire, both at the Division II and the Division I level. But he's short. And oh God, no. Oh Lordy, don't ever draft a short quarterback. Never do it. Yeah, except for Russell Wilson. Or Drew Brees. Or Doug Flutie. Or any of those other quarterbacks that were really good that were short. I don't seem to understand it. Pete Carroll obviously didn't see in Vernon Adams what he saw in Wilson. And apparently the Washington Redskins, they didn't see anything in Vernon Adams either. But I don't know. You guys saw those games that he was in. He's a gamer. Oh, man. They let Vernon Adams go to Canadian football and didn't even get to see him outside of practice. Didn't get to see him in a game situation. This guy is Russell Wilson Jr., and the Hawks just let him slip through the fingers. The Cardinals let them slip through the fingers. The Niners, the Rams, these are all teams that could have used a quarterback as a backup. And if nothing else, put him on the practice team. Put him on the practice team. See how he looks against, use him as like a Russell Wilson clone so you can practice against him. But I guess no one has that kind of foresight, and we'll be seeing him in Canadian football. I just want to throw this out there, by the way. Vernon Adams, who's too small, is actually taller and heavier than Russell Wilson. The one thing that he does not have, he has a better three-cone drill, a better 40-yard dash. Actually, he has a better three-cone drill, better vertical jump and broad jump. Does not have the same inline speed. He's a 4.83 40 versus Russell Wilson's 4.5 40 speed, which who cares, really? You're a quarterback. You just need to be able to bounce around in the pocket. But what they really don't like is Russell Wilson, again, smaller than Vernon Adams. He had a 10 1/4 inch size hands versus Vernon Adams' 9 1/8 inches hands. And that's a full inch smaller. And that seems to be a huge, huge problem in the NFL. And I don't know. Again, we get to these metrics and we get to these measurements, and it doesn't measure the heart and the will and the strength of a player. Seems awfully short-sighted to just let him walk off to the CFL. All right, guys, I just want to throw out there one of our biggest patrons and one of our biggest fans is Christy Piercy. And Christy loves a local UW product by the name of Tanny Tupou. Sorry, got the name wrong again. Tanny Tupou was a defensive lineman at the University of Washington. Was actually told last year, don't play for this team. You need to go somewhere else. What did he do? Oh, well, all he did was make second team all Pac-12. That's all he did. So, he's on a team and he was told, this is the team he's always wanted to play for. This guy's out of Marysville, Washington. He's always wanted to play for this team. Steve Sarkisian brought him in. But the story is somebody told him, nah, you should probably look elsewhere. Chris Peterson probably doesn't want you. Yeah, you should probably look elsewhere. But what did he do? Made second team all Pac-12. Comes to the Seahawks because he wasn't drafted. He was not drafted. He was invited by Carroll to come to rookie minicamp just to see what he looks like. Well, what did they see? Well, they see another Will Tukuafu is what they see. A defensive lineman who is a big body and nimble enough to perhaps be a fullback. So we don't have a Coleman. We don't have Coleman anymore. Tufuaku wasn't invited back. Tukuafu, you got to remember, he's 33 years old. Tanny Tupou is about 22, 21 years old. Oh, yes. We're probably going to get someone about the same talent level as Tukuafu, but 10 years younger. That's important. A lot of people do not get this, and I get into this argument all the time with you people. I don't know why I just said you people, and I'm looking at my technical director, Bob, who's like, stop saying you people. But you people as in fans who argue with me, I get in arguments with those people about age. The optimal age for an athlete in most sports is somewhere around 24 to about 28, 29 years old. That's your sweet zone, that's your strike zone, that's the optimum. You get somebody that's like 21, take a look at Seattle Sounders. You have a 21-year-old Jordan Morris. He looks lost. All the talent in the world, too young, has not seen the world. Look at somebody that's, like maybe Franklin Gutierrez, who's like 33 for the Mariners. He's too old. I mean, he's lost a step and he's has had injuries, and he's got it all up here, but he just doesn't have the body that's going to take the punishment of a regular season. Well, Tani Tupou, I think this guy at his age and at his makeup and his willingness to play fullback is going to be quite important and quite relevant for this upcoming team. Right now, there's nobody else doing fullback. There's he and two other guys fighting for it. But his versatility, which Carroll loves. Carroll loves versatility. I think his versatility is going to get him that position. All right, guys, we're going to go ahead and run to break here. But when we come back, we're going to talk a little bit about the Sounders and also cover a few other interesting subjects I want to just throw out there to people. All right, this is Seattle Sports Union Live. We'll be right back after this message. There's no message, but we'll be right back in a minute. Why do I keep saying messages, Bob? Welcome back to SSU Live. My name is Abraham DeWeese. We are Seattle Sports Union. This is the best in local Seattle sports coverage. Behind the screen, the man with the technology is one Bob Lucky. I just want to say hello out there to all of our wonderful viewers and all of those people on Facebook that are watching us right now. and all of our readers of our articles on SeattleSportsUnion.com. Check us out at Seattle Sports U. That's our Twitter page. Check us out on Facebook at Seattle Sports Union. And please, please, please like us here on YouTube and feel free to leave comments. We will return your comments. All right, guys, we talked a little bit about the Mariners and they're getting swept by the Twins. Talked a little bit about the Seahawks and my thoughts about the upcoming season and certain players. Right now, I just want to cover just the utter disaster, the utter just bleep storm. I'll just have to say the word bleep storm that has been this Seattle Sounders season. The Sounders only have 13 points. What does that mean? 13 points in soccer in the MLS means you're in dead last. The Seattle Sounders have won 4 games. Actually, Houston might be dead last that I looked, but the Seattle Sounders only have won 4 games, have lost 8, and tied 1. You don't need to know soccer to know that's bad. That's really bad. What's even worse is our arch nemesis, the Timbers of Portland and the Vancouver Whitecaps, are doing much better than we are. Timbers not so much better, but just well enough to maybe make the playoffs. And then the Whitecaps are doing really, really well. And that hurts because we're doing really, really poorly. Well, we had a game yesterday, and in this game against the New England Revolution, a team that by all metrics is worse than we are. But hey, they beat us. Now they have 16 points to our 13. And maybe if they beat us, then maybe we're the worst team. Definitely worse than them. They beat us 2-1. And guys, this game was a meltdown. And I mean meltdown as in just nothing worked right. We did get a goal. We got a goal right off the bat, 6 minutes in. Aaron Kovar nails a nice little shot from the top of the box. Nifty, jukes around 2 guys, hits it in the lower left corner. But in the 22nd minute, it happened yet again. The Sounders got screwed by the ref. We tried to clear a ball. It hits midfielder Eric Freeberg in the stomach, and the ref calls handball. Didn't hit him in the hands. Hit him in the groin and stomach area. No hands involved. And the ref calls handball. Needless to say, the Revs kicked the ball in, scored the equalizer, later on to win the game, and to make things worse, Brad Evans got injured. So we don't have Brad Evans, we don't have Clint Dempsey, we don't have Nelson Valdez, we don't have anybody other than these young guys like Jordan Morris and Aaron Kovar, Christian Roldan, all these guys. The team's going through a transformation. And Ozzie Alonso did the best he could. Our wonderful midfielder did the best he could to keep things, keep things level, keep things buoyed. But guys, this team's going to have to get blown up, and it's going to have to find other talent. And we can't just have guys like Clint Dempsey running off to the U.S. national team every other week. Could have used Clint Dempsey. Could have used him big time. Could have used Nelson Valdez. It's going to have to be a different way we do things. And after watching this first half of the season, I'm glad that there's a break because the Sounders need to come back and maybe find more players to transfer over to this team to give them an infusion of talent. But right now, we can no longer say that we're more talented than other teams. We're not. We're right where we belong, at the bottom of the table. Which there's better news. But hey guys, we gotta look towards that second half of that season. Healthy, guys like Evans will come back healthy. We'll get a healthy Nelson Valdez back. We should get Clint Dempsey back, but we should also take a look at maybe this being a rebuilding season and maybe Ziggy Schmidt's last season. All right, well, I thank you all for joining us today. My name again is Abraham Deweese. Behind the camera is Bob Lucky. We are the Seattle Sports Union. Check us out on Facebook at Seattle Sports Union. Check us out on Twitter at Seattle Sports U. We have a great article. We have a great website full of articles, seattlesportsunion.com, and check out our videos here on YouTube. All right. Thank you guys for joining us. We'll see you next week. Have a great day.